Now, do you want to know what our tips are, our effective actions are? Well, first of all, this is under the 4 headings of travel, home, food and stuff. Travel. To fly from London to Thailand, or London to Cape Town, or London to California, is about 2 tons return flight per person. So it's, can you cut out, if you fly, what we're asking people to do is to think of a way in one of these 4 areas to save a ton, because as I said, everybody's different and it varies what you can do. Not everybody can do everything, and some people are already very good and doing a lot of these things anyway, so it's a matter of looking at what you can do and works for you. So maybe you don't fly already, so then that's not something for you to consider, but there's maybe something else you can do in the travel area. And that's about, on average, 3 short-haul flights to Europe save a ton a year. And if you have to do a long-haul flight, it's worth trying to cut out the stopovers, because it's the landing and the takeoff that uses the most fuel. So you're adding to a landing and a takeoff if you stop over. So it's quite an effective way to reduce the impact of flying. These tips they're not ones that you have to keep remembering to do. They're ones that are decision making, so you either decide to do it or not to do it. Switching lights off is something you've got to remember, and it's a behavioural change thing, and that's quite tricky. And these are ones that you make a conscious decision to do or not to do. So if you switch, if your car currently does 30 miles to the gallon and you buy a car that does 40 miles to the gallon, and you drive on average 10,000 miles a year, that saves a ton a year. Similarly, if you currently have a car that drives at 40 miles to the gallon, and you buy a car that's got 60 miles to the gallon, and you drive on average 10,000 miles a year, that saves a ton. Oh, and if you drive 3,000 less miles a year, that's an obvious one to do, and that saves a ton a year. Now, food is an interesting one. You're already campaigning on food. WRAP, the Waste Resources Action Programme, a really interesting study, and they discovered that the average family throws away over 600 pounds of perfectly good food every year, and that adds up to, I think it's 12 billion tonnes of food, perfectly good food, wasted.
Sorry, pounds as in
Was I
money or weight?
Pounds as in money.
Okay.
Oh.
It's shocking, and it's to do with the sell-by dates, and we've just got so wasteful about food. Key message about food is switch to locally sourced, seasonal food. The saving and avoid over-packaging and processed food, because there is so much, I'm sure I'm teaching to the converted here, there's so much energy involved in food is one of the most transported and energy intensive materials on the planet. The energy consumption of non-seasonal food is absolutely staggering, and so going for seasonal food is a really, really useful thing to do. So if you aim for about 70% of your diet, you can save a ton a year. But also we need to look at avoiding waste, buying only what you need when you need it, and shop much more locally. Switching to avoid eating less meat. I'm not saying vegetarian totally, but talking to Vicky and Paula, you're already campaigning on that sort of thing of reducing soya because meat is fed on soya, and that's what it's not just about carbon emissions, it's methane, and that's much more damaging to or adding to climate change than just carbon dioxide on its own, and that's what comes from cows. So it's eat less meat and drink less milk. Again, if you get that down by 75%, you can save a ton a year. But I don't want to go saying don't eat any meat at all, because this is trying to get messages across to the general public or the general population, and to say I don't want to go there really.
But they do the meat-free Mondays, I think we've been quite...
Those are the sort of things, yes. More positive, sort of, it's not about giving up, it's about doing more and saving more.